It is about time to talk about some new makeup updates. I have a lot of makeup that I need to update you on that I really tested to see how I truly like it after doing my first impressions. And I'm gonna add some timestamps so you can kind of like jump around and check out what you really are interested in. And let's get into it. Let's start out with the Kiko Street Heart collection. This was their Valentine's collection for this year and it was a collab with a street artist. I bought a few things and I have mixed feelings about this collection. Okay, let's start out with the Cheeque products. I have here the liquid blush in 01 Pop Flamingo. This is a very bright blush and a very matte blush. I was kind of hoping for the blush formula, the liquid blush formula that they had in their spring collection last year, but this is definitely a little bit different. It's mattifying, it's blurring, it's very pigmented. This one is a little bit too bright and pigmented for me. Like, I can make it work, but it's definitely a color and formula that I go overboard with pretty quickly, and it kind of like sinks in my pores because it's so liquidy and pigmented. So I can make it work, but I feel like this would be better on someone with a slightly deeper skin tone, or to kind of like mix in with things that works as well. But on its own, it's a little bit too bright and pigmented and slightly hard to work with. Like, I can definitely wear it, but it's not a new favorite. Then we have the liquid highlighter from this collection. This is the one in 01 Cheers. This is just so lackluster. This is supposed to be a highlighter, but this basically does nothing on my cheeks. It does nothing for me. I can understand a very natural highlighter. There's a time and place for that, but I just feel like whenever I apply it, I just don't see anything. Like, nothing is happening. I don't feel like it's more glowy than my actual blush. It's not more glowy than my actual skin, like how glowy my skin naturally is. This just does basically nothing for me. It is almost mattifying. It's very strange. I just don't feel like there is a point to this product. Like, it blends well. I don't see any issues, but I also don't see anything. Then we have the Street Heart Vinyl Lock Lip Lacquer. I got it in shade 03. This is supposed to be a nude shade, but it looks very bright, kind of like pinky red on me. I kind of like it, kind of don't. It is quite comfortable on the lips. I quite like the color, I quite like how it looks, but I did wear this out to dinner and it just kind of crumbled off. It didn't look good, and I feel like maybe if you have less dry lips, this could still work for you, but there's just something about this formula and the way it adheres to the lips where it just crumbles off when it gets a little bit too oily. When you are eating things that kind of like rub over your lips, it is just not a very practical product. It's kind of making me think of the Teddy tints and the issues I had with that. If I put something like this on my lips, if I put a very long wearing lip product on my lips, I just want it to stay there. Otherwise, I will just put on like a lip balm, something like that, something that wears off gracefully, and I will just reapply it after the dinner and I will also be fine. So I didn't really love this one. I like the color. I did get some compliments when I wore it. What I did really enjoy from this collection, I think this is basically the only thing that I will be reaching for pretty regularly after this. This is the Street Heart lumicontour face palette in 01 Champagne and Hazelnut. This is a cream face palette duo where we have a nice cool tone, neutral cool tone cream bronzer. We have a really beautiful highlighter. This just blends into the skin so beautifully. It's really easy to work with. I love the colors. I love the glow of this highlighter. This is a really nice and compact palette. I like the two colors together. I feel like this makes a lot of sense and it's just really beautiful on the skin. I feel like this makes me look very bronzy, but there's no patchiness, there's no weirdness. It blends in, it's not too thick. It's just the ideal kind of cream formula for me. I really like it. This is really beautiful. Then we have the eyeshadow palette. I was hoping for a little more. When I swatched this, I thought that these shimmers were going to be quite nice and shiny, but they end up looking quite satin, which is not something bad per se. Like, you can like a satin shadow, but that's just not what I was expecting from it. The mattes are very powdery, like what I'm used to from Kiko. They do have blendability. They do have pigment, but overall I just feel like this was a little bit of a lackluster palette. It was trying to be something, but it didn't really go for it. We have this kind of like very soft neutrally look, and then these pops of color. I feel like if they would have gone a step further and add in kind of like a blue and a purple shimmer, this would have made much more sense. Also, this was 30 euros, and we have these really small pans. It's a pretty like big bulky palette as well for the amount of product that you're getting. I feel like some people could still enjoy this, but I just found it to be a little bit disappointing. I was just hoping for a little bit more. Like when you look at this in the pan, you kind of see almost like a duochrome to it. They seem like they're gonna be quite nice and shiny on the lids, and it just turns out very, very soft. And I don't know, the looks that I've done with it, I just haven't really loved. I just haven't really loved it on myself. It was just okay. And that also tells me something. It's not just that satins aren't my favorites, because I do love a good satin from time to time, but just the looks of this were meh. Alright, then 2 random cheek products from higher end brands. First up, I have here the Huda Beauty Ube Cream Blush Filter. I really love this formula, and I think that the color of this one is really fun, really nice. It's just a pinky lilac-y shade. I feel like it's a little bit deeper than the Anastasia liquid blush that I tried, that I found a little bit too light. I do really like this color on me. I think it's a fun shade. It does really add kind of like this brightening effect. It kind of makes my skin look a little bit lighter than with other blushes, but I do feel like it's deep enough, and it's just the good Huda Beauty formula that I'm used to, that I really like. Then we have the Pat McGrath Labs Bronzer. I kind of forgot that I tried this. I found it kind of like at the bottom of the basket. I just totally spaced. I forgot that I had this, but I have used it a bunch, but a little while ago. So I have shade Nude Honey, and I feel like this is a really good tone for me. It's a nice cool tone bronzer. It's not too deep. I feel like it's very blendable. It has this skin-like finish. I do really like it, but I did forget about it. So that makes me think, does it say anything about this product? Usually it does. I think I do prefer other bronzers over this one. I was hoping to really, really love it because I saw this in different like favorites videos, and I thought, okay, maybe I will try it. It's a nice bronzer. It's a good bronzer. I don't have anything negative to say about it, but it was a little bit forgettable to me. I'm gonna see if I'm gonna grab it now that I'm gonna put it in my actual bronzer drawer. That might make a difference. Like, there's nothing wrong with this, but it's a little bit more expensive for sure. Alright, then some indie makeup. I tried the This the Season palette, and this is actually a palette that I'm wearing today by Cosmic Beauty. I got this in after Christmas, so I didn't do a dedicated review, but I did use it in A Chat to Get Ready With Me. I do really like the colors in here. I do really like this palette. Love the formula, love the quality of Cosmic Beauty. It's just a really nice brand. I get really excited. It is easy to get for me, and it's not too expensive. I do enjoy like the bottom 2 rows the most. Like, these are just my favorites, but I did do also a really nice neutral look, and like the green look that I'm wearing today is also really fun. I did take my time blending it out because like these bright greens, they are not that easily blended into my skin tone. Like, it's not as easy as pinks and purples, but I also think that usually greens and blues, you need to take a little bit more time to blend it out in a way that doesn't look too muddy or blown out. I do really enjoy this palette. I think it's a really fun color story. It feels like vintage Christmas in such a nice way. It really gives me the feels. It's like the cookies and the snacks and then the tree, and then this is really like the things you wear. I don't know, it just feels so nice, and I'm very happy that I did in the end decide to buy this again, because this was sent back to Cosmic Beauty. I don't know why. It never came to me, and then I reordered it at Monolith. I think this is great quality. Love the color story. A beautiful palette. Then I also have here one of the cream blushes from Cosmic Beauty. This is in the shade Mary. It's kind of like this pinky red, almost a little bit muted, almost a little bit coral. It's kind of like an interesting rosy shade. I do enjoy this formula. I do feel like it's pretty nice, but it's not a new favorite. It's not something that I am really excited to get back into. There's something about this formula where I feel like it's a little bit hard to blend, and there's just something slightly patchy about it. It's an issue that I have with more cheek products, and it's just, it's slightly uneven on the cheeks. I don't think it's gonna be something that I declutter right away. I don't think this is gonna be my worst of the year by any means, but I do feel like it is not the easiest cream cheek product that I've tried. I do really like the color. The color is really beautiful. And then I also have here the Singe Beauty Galactic Visitor eyeshadow palette. So this is the first eyeshadow palette by Singe Beauty. My first time, of course, trying an eyeshadow palette from this brand. And I was very excited to see what their formula was gonna be like. And I've actually used this palette a bunch. I've actually used this so much, more than I was expecting. I was especially going into this palette for a lot of the mattes, for an inner corner highlight, for like something in the crease. I was trying some of the Catrice single eyeshadows, like their multi-chrome, dual-chrome single eyeshadows, and I just kept reaching in for this palette to use the mattes. I do also really like the shimmers, but I do feel like for me the mattes in this palette are the star of the show, even though the shimmers are really beautiful. The bottom row of this palette is definitely my favorite. I really like the mints and the blues and this kind of like periwinkle gray shade. The top in a way was a little bit more difficult for me to use. Like this turned out pretty purple on me, while when looking at the pan I thought it was a brown, but it's definitely pulling very purple on me. I also feel like I'm missing, for me to do a neutral look with this, a shimmer that is a little bit deeper. Like here we have the shade Believe for the blues, and I'm kind of missing something in that depth range for here, but it's kind of nitpicky. I did really enjoy the formulas. I did really like the blendability. I did really like the shimmer formula in here. It is a formula that is not chunky, it's not glittery, but it does have a shimmer in it. It is like a dimensional shiny shimmer without the chunk and the mess and the fallout. It really is made for more textured lids. It's really something that works for that. I do really see myself going into this one again because I do really like the tones of a lot of the mattes, and I do really like combining this with things. Like that is what I've been doing, and I think that is something that I'm gonna keep doing because there are just some really nice shades in here that I will think of. Like I want to use it, I want to use that again, I want to combine that in this look. So yeah, I do think it's a really nice formula, it's a beautiful palette, and I can't wait to see what else the brand is coming out with. Since I've been sick, my mind is so frazzled, so all over the place. It's so hard to find the words to say things and to explain things. I'm trying my best. But if I don't seem as sure of what I'm saying, or if I don't seem to make as much sense, that is the reason. I just need a little bit more time to recover. Alright, I have some more indie makeup here in front of me. I did try a lot of indie makeup, and I did try a bunch of things from Glam-Shop, and I did try some things from the Crème de la Crème collection. This is the Crème de la Crème eyeshadow palette, and I did already mention in my video that I don't like the way this packaging looks. It's very pixelated. But besides that, I have really enjoyed this palette. It is kind of boring. Like it is not a very exciting palette. We have some mattes, we have some satin shades, we do have some deepening up shades to make it a little bit more smoky. It's just, in a way, nothing special, but I have been really enjoying it. I just really like the matte formula from Glam-Shop. It just blends really well. I really like the tones of the mattes here, and I just think that the colors here work really well together, make a lot of sense. It's just an easy go-to palette. It's just an easy palette for like going to work, not wanting your eyeshadow to really stand out that much, but you want to wear something. I just really enjoyed the looks that I've done with this, but I do think that a lot of people would think this is a little bit too boring for them. Like this is satins and mattes. That is what is going on here, but every time I've done a look with this, I have really enjoyed it and I have felt really beautiful, and that is something that I can't deny. There's just something about these colors. I just love them. Like they are beautiful, they are basic, they are soft and cool toned. I like it. Then we have the Velvet liquid lipstick that I tried from this collection. This was in shade Trendy, I believe. And I've worn this for a full day. I did wear it in that first impression video as well. And I did wear it for a full day after that. And I just I have mixed feelings. Like, I really love this color, and as it first goes on, I feel like it looks really nice and smooth, and it feels quite nice. It has a little bit of a creamy velvety feel, and it doesn't feel drying or anything like that. But this is the type of product, if it dries down on your lips and you have dry lips, it kind of like dries in and starts looking very uneven. Like the top kind of creamy layer wears off, and then it starts drying in and looking patchy. So this is the type of product that I will probably get out of my collection again in the summer when my lips aren't as dry, when I don't have to deal with that drier feeling that I get later in the day. Like, this is a really beautiful looking lip product. It just didn't wear that well on me, and that is a little bit sad, but I do feel like there's still gonna be a time and place for this, but I'm not gonna be buying any more shades, I think. Like, at first I thought maybe I will, but I won't. Then I also have here 2 metallic liquid blushes from this collection. I have Rose Perloy and wait, that's not the name. What's the name? Guma Ballonoa and Morozini Rose. So I have here kind of like a more rosy pink and a almost lilac-y cool tone pink. These are more of a blush topper colored highlighter kind of product for me. I feel like on their own, they are so incredibly metallic that they look a little bit patchy. And it's not because they actually are patchy, because as you turn your head, you can see that the pigment is distributed smoothly. But it's just as you look forward, and that happens a lot with very metallic cheek products, at least for me, they look a little patchy. But you can use them kind of like to mix in with things. You can put something on top to kind of counteract it, a very strong metallic sheen. Like, these have such a strong metallic kind of like silvery sheen to them that just is a little bit too much even for me. I love a very glowy blush, I love a very glowy cheeks, but this is just one step too far. But I do feel like there's a time and a place for this as like a mix-in, as a topper, as sort of like a colored highlighter. I'm still gonna be using these, but I just had to admit that this was a little bit too much. And then I also tried a few things from the Valentine's Day collection, and one of them I'm ready to review. So this is the Glam-Shop Quad in Pink Glam from the Valentine's Day collection. I did another look with this and I just really enjoyed this formula. The mattes from Glam-Shop are just really easy to work with. I really love the tones of the mattes in here. The shimmers in here are really beautiful. This is just a standard metallic. And then we have kind of like a duochrome purple to gold. It is just really beautiful. This is a type of quad that I will be reaching in for again and again and again. This is just like those basic shades that I really love, that I think really suit me. Like, these are really nice cool tone colors. Then I'm ready to review the blushes, the baked blushes that What's a Beauty sent to me. They did send it to me in PR together with the brushes. I did also get the bronzers, but I'm not ready to review those. So these blushes are the Cheeque Terre Baked and Pressed Powder Blush. And I just really enjoy these so much. These are kind of lightly pigmented baked blushes which have a slight sheen to them. It's really like this natural flush and this natural sort of glow on the cheeks. And I really, really like the way these look, the way the pigment disperses. I just think these are really easy to use, beautiful colors. I do like the packaging. Sometimes it's a little hard to open, but I do really, really enjoy these. That's why I'm pretty quick with reviewing these, because I have been using these a lot. My favorites are gonna be the light pink shade, which is called Peaceful Pizza. This is just a really nice cool tone light pink. It's just what I like. And then I also really enjoy Serene Sienna, which is 20. This kind of like mauvey pink shade. And I actually put a little bit of Relaxed Roma on today. This is 30, and this is kind of like a more brownie, almost mauvey color. Like, this really smooths over the cheeks. I really like them. They are more lightly pigmented. If you like a super pigmented blush, this might not be for you. And also, of course, we have the brushes. I think these are really nice shapes. I washed them and that worked really well. They are really soft. I just think these work really well, and they work really well with the blushes as well. Like this one I used again today. It's just a really nice, not too big brush that you can really be precise with and sweep it over the cheeks. So that is really nice. I really enjoy these. Then we have the Nimya collection that I tried a couple of months ago. It's been a while since I tried them, but I really needed some time to make up my mind. Usually when it takes me a long time to review something, it's not a good sign. Usually that means that I'm a little unsure on my opinion and if I really like it, and if I don't like something and I'm probably gonna give something a bad review, I usually try it a few times more to be sure that I really don't like it, like that it's not my fault or technique or a certain brush that I'm using that doesn't work with it. So I spend some time on these. And then I especially am talking about the highlighters. So we have the one here in Monarch, and this one I think was the darkest one. This one is really golden. I definitely shouldn't have bought this. I thought that maybe it would work, but it's definitely cool, too golden, so I can't really say a lot about that. So that is that color. But the two that I could like make work for me are the one in Beam Bam Boom. So this is the lighter champagne one, and this one, yeah, fits my skin tone. And then I could also sort of make work the one in Pink Outside the Box. That is this pink shade, which I could kind of wear as like a blush topper. So the thing with these is that I find that these highlighters have quite a bit of base color, and I just figured out that that is not something that I enjoy. Especially with this pink one, it has quite a dark pink base, and then it shifts really light, very icy silvery, and I just find that a really difficult combination to use. For me, it's almost like I have to use this as a blush or a blush topper, but then it's so silvery that it's kind of like that glow should be more pinpointed on my cheeks. So it didn't really work exactly as I was thinking. And then also with the shade Beam Bam Boom, I just found that built up, it just looked a little bit too stark, and of course it's a very blinding highlight, and that is also a choice that you make. I just feel like it was really easy to go overboard with this, and I just had to grab the tiniest bit to get a result that I like. And I do feel like a lot of people could like these. They are very glowy, they are smooth, they are very beautiful, but I just think that the base color makes these a little bit difficult to use for me, and it's the reason why I was kind of unsure about it. Like, I've worn these, and especially the one in Beam Bam Boom, I've worn it and really enjoyed it, but I just had to grab like the tiniest bit, and that is just something that you have to keep in mind. That is just something that you need to know if you liked it, if that is something for you. Do you want a really blinding highlight? Like, this is buildable, that is true. Like, you can wear it softer or more like stark and highlighting, but it is just so easy to go overboard, and it's just also my personal preference. Then we have the lip toppers, the Discosphere lip toppers, and it also took me a while to use these, but that is also because these are so out there, very glittery, very shimmery. These really make your lips look so eye-catching, and I think it's really nice. It's really beautiful, but it's also something that I don't just throw on willy-nilly whenever on my lips. I have to think a little bit more about what kind of look I think that suits, what I want to combine it with, and this is quite a nice lip product. It is pigmented, it is shimmery, I don't feel like it's too gritty, it feels nice on the lips, but it's also a very specific lip product, and I have some kind of like lip toppery, shimmery lip products that I feel are a little bit more subtle and are just a little bit more easy to combine with things. This is definitely something for me personally that I would wear to a party or with a very specific look. It's so shimmery to the point that it's a little scary for me. It's a little bit of a scary lip product. I do think that it is what it's meant to be. It's not something else than what they promised it would be, so I'm not faulting it, but it did take me some time to use this again and see how I really felt about it. I also don't feel like you need all three shades. I bought all three. I would say just buy one of them and enjoy that one, because it's such a specific look. Unless this is like your perfect lip product, I can totally understand that you might want all three. So at the end of last year, I got a huge PR package from C Beauty Mall. They sent me a lot of C Beauty indie brands, and I do have a few things here that I want to update you on. First up, I got one of the Judydoll glazed blushes, and this is in the shade 05. I grabbed this one to use as a bronzer, and it's a really nice, subtle, kind of like peachy bronzer. A very matte finish, but not so matte that I feel like it mattifies my skin too much, because sometimes I feel like with my dry skin, very matte blushes look kind of like all the life has been sucked out of my skin. This one doesn't do that. I really like it as a bronzer. It is very subtle. In the summer, this is not gonna work on me as a bronzer. This is really for my fairest days, but I do really like it. I think it's really cute. I would say that I don't think the packaging closes the best. Like, there's not really a closure. Like, it's pressed together, but it's not really like locked in tight. So I do really like this. Then we have this Joycey Jelly highlighter, and I have the shade H04, and this is a jelly highlighter stick. It's almost like a cream jelly highlighter, and this is kind of like a shimmery wet look effect. It feels really cooling on the skin. You have some time to blend it out, but then it is something that does really truly dry down. Like, if you swatch this on your hand, let this sit for a little bit, and then you rub it, it's not gonna go anywhere. So it's a long-lasting, shimmery, wet-looking highlighter. Really beautiful, really pretty. I do personally feel like I would have liked it a little bit more if this stick was a little bit more wide, so I could also go in with the brush and then apply it on the face. Like, you have to swipe it on, and it works, but it's not my absolute preferred method, but it's really beautiful. Then we have this Go-Go Tales lip gloss, and this is in the shade G05, and this is a pretty bulky packaging. Like, it's really big. I feel like the amount of product in here is so much less than like this packaging, because you really kind of see that there is some space between the actual like inner part and the outer part, so it's like unnecessarily bulky. I think this is a pretty cute gloss. It's pretty shiny. It is a beautiful color, but it's a little bit on the thinner side, so it doesn't last super long. It is an okay gloss. Smells a little bit of chemicals. I do kind of like this product, but I don't think this is good enough for me to really reach back into it. Like, trying this out was a little bit of a chore, but I do think that some people could definitely like that. It's not a terrible product. I just like my glosses to be a little bit more grippy and a little bit more thick than that. Then I have this blush duo. This is the SheenEffect blush duo in S1, and we have a very, very light matte blush, and then we have a highlighter. The matte blush doesn't work on me. It's way too light. It is very brightening if you want to use this for a brightening effect. If you actually do see beauty makeup, I can totally see it working for that. For my makeup style, it just doesn't work. Of course, I cannot fault the product for that. It's just meant to be used in a different way than I do my makeup. The highlighter is very shimmery, and it has a very strong shift. It shifts very, very golden on the cheeks, which I think is a little bit too stark for me. It goes a little bit too far for me. Like, it's very, very warm gold. Like, you have the pink base when you really turn your head, but most of the time it's just gonna look very, very golden. It's very nice and smooth. It is creamy, but it's not exactly what I like to use. I cannot really say that there's anything wrong with this, but this is not really gonna be a favorite. And I do think that the combination of this very light blush and then this very golden, very shifty highlighter is a little bit interesting. I don't really see how this works together. Then something that I did really enjoy from this C Beauty Mall haul is this Passional Lover highlighter palette. We have 4 different highlighters here. These are really nice and smooth. We have some different textures. They are a little bit colorful, but in a way still pretty easy to wear. I just think that these are really stunning. It is a type of palette where when you look at it, you kind of don't know what you're gonna get. You have to swatch it to see, because it's kind of like this iridescence that these highlighters have. Like, I especially really like this purple one. It's very smooth. This purpley one I really like. And then this one is also really beautiful and smooth. Like, it's a very interesting highlighter palette. I do feel like in a way these colorful highlighters are still pretty easy to wear. They're kind of like duochromy, multichromy. This one is a little bit more like sparkly. I do really like it. Every time I wear it, I do really like the way my cheeks are looking. For a more out there, for a more like colorful cheek palette, I feel like it's still semi-wearable, and I do really like just the way it looks, and it's still flattering enough on my cheeks. I don't feel like it looks chunky or overly done, and it's really nice to kind of blend something like this in with a blush. Like this peachy one, really beautiful. This purpley one, really beautiful to blend into a blush. So I did really enjoy this one. I have a lot of Lethal Cosmetics to talk about. Some of these I bought myself, but the Lethal X Dexter collection they actually sent to me in PR. So let's talk about some of the things I've had for a little bit longer. I have here 4 of the Aura Multichrome liners that Lethal Cosmetics came out with in combination with their Spellcraft eyeshadow palette. I think I have all but one I didn't buy. I think that one was a little bit more red. I quite enjoy these and I do really like the looks that I've done with this, but I do have a few notes when it comes to these. The thing with these is these are really beautifully pigmented. They are very long wearing. They are very nice and shifty, but I do feel like these need quite a lot of warm up to get to that point where they really give off color and like smooth over the lids and really like glide. And for that reason they don't really work right away. You really have to warm them up. You really have to pass a few times before they really get a little bit more emollient and just give off the color that you want. So the end result of these I really enjoy. I think you can do some really nice looks with these, but they are not as user-friendly as some other liners that I've tried recently that I've really enjoyed. I've still used these a lot. I'm still going to use these a lot, but I do feel like they are a little bit on the drier side. And then I don't really know when I bought these, but I bought these I think maybe 2 months ago. I have 2 of the single eyeshadows from Lethal Cosmetics. I just got curious because they have changed their formulas, but I feel like there were a few steps in between that I kind of missed. I tried them a couple years before the Avatar The Last Airbender collection, and then I only tried them again at the point they started doing these collabs. So I have here a holographic eyeshadow which is Bismuth, and this is a silvery holographic, and then I also have one in the shade Forged, and I believe this is like their extreme metallic formula. I think this is a really beautiful formula. These are not as super textured in your face as some of the shades that they have in their newest palettes, but it's definitely a better formula than the formula that I tried when they had kind of like the original formula like 4 years ago, 5 years ago. How long have I been doing YouTube? I forgot. 4 years? So I do think that they have a lot of things that are already better quality besides the palettes that they now have that I do really like the formula of. These are really beautiful shimmers. They work really well. They are creamy, they are pigmented, and they are quite smooth. They are not as super textured as the shimmers that they now have in their eyeshadow palettes. Alright, let's talk about the Dexter collection. We have 2 lip stains and we have 2 lip oils in this collection. The lip stains I do enjoy. I like the red one more than I was expecting. This one actually turns quite a nice kind of like soft red, corally almost shade on me. The black one, which is more of a really dark purple, which turns kind of like a berry stain on the lips, I do really enjoy. I just have the same thing to say about these as I have basically about any lip stain that I've tried recently. If you have dry lips, lip stains don't wear as long. Like these definitely need, for me, for these to wear long and to feel comfortable, a gloss on top. But I do like the fact that those combinations or that option already exists in the line in this collection. Like they've thought of that. But this gripe is not something that is specific to these Lethal Cosmetics lip stains. I think these are pretty cute lip stains. They work well. It's just a overall thing that you have to keep in mind. If you have dry lips, you've never tried a lip stain, you're thinking, oh, maybe I should try it. People say it lasts so long. It lasts a little bit differently on dry lips. It's just the way of the world. It's just the way things work. But I do really like the lip combinations that I've done with these lip stains and then with the lip oil. So in a way, in this collection, they made them work for me. But I also tried them on their own and it's just not that long wearing on me. It's just a fact. Here we have the lip oils. We have a black one, which is called Aconite, and then we have a sheer orange, which is called M99. These are really nice and hydrating. They are glossy. I do really like them. I do enjoy the black one the most. I just like the kind of like soft gray sheen that this gives on the lips. It just tones down the lip that you have on if you put it on top of something a little bit. I do really enjoy that. This is a comfortable formula. It looks a little shimmery in the packaging, but it's not that shimmery on the lips. They don't really smell like anything, so if you're kind of like over, or if you don't like at all of these lip oils and lip products and lip balms that have a lot of scent. I know it's a huge trend right now to put a scent in every lip product. If you don't like that, these could still work for you. I do like them. Do I feel like these are gonna top my absolute favorite lip oils? I don't know. I feel for that they would have to come out with these in a shade that is a little bit more up my alley. I would love to see more shades in this. Let's put it like that. I do really like this formula. It's nice and glossy. It's comfortable. It lasts for quite a long time. It's not like off your lips immediately, but it's also not super thick or sticky. So I do think they did a great job with this. I think this lip product could become a little bit more exciting if they come out with different shades, more shades, maybe more color in the lip product. Then we have the... You don't want to know how many times that has happened to me. Then we have the brushes from the Lethal and Dexter collection. We have the tool roll with the brushes that look like knives dipped in blood. I think it's very cool. It's very fitting for the collection. I do really like the brushes here. They are very soft. I do really like the shapes. This is not a full brush collection for me. I couldn't do my makeup with just these brushes, but I do think there are some really nice ones in here. One that I've really particularly enjoyed is this one for applying like my face products, for applying foundation, skin tints, because it's pretty precise. When you look at it like this, like you can get into the little like corners of your face. And I do really like the blush brush that just fell on the floor. We have some really nice smaller eyeshadow brushes, but I do feel like I'm kind of missing a smaller blending brush, like something like this but a little bit smaller. That would really make this more complete. I do really like the quality. It's also like all of this for 50 euros. I think it's a pretty good price. I am now gonna take these out of this roll and just put them with my other brushes because I just forget to use them. Even though I have used them a lot, I did use them a lot when I just got them, but after I made up my mind, I kind of forgot about them because they are kind of like hidden away in this brush roll. I am gonna keep it because I think it's very cool. It's really like merch-esque. I think they did a great job with these brushes. I really do enjoy them. And then of course we have the star of the show, the eyeshadow palette from the Dexter and Lethal collection. This is in the shape of his Blood Slide box. I've been watching Dexter. I'm still watching Dexter. I think I'm just gonna watch the whole show again because I've been really enjoying it. I think Dexter is just a great show. I really like him as a character. So this is a little bit of a bulky packaging. It's gonna be hard to fit in my drawer, but I do get it. I do understand it. So I'm gonna give them a pass on this. I do understand why they did this. I think it had to be done, but it's not gonna be super practical. I do like the packaging practicality-wise of the Spellcraft a lot, and also the Avatar: The Last Airbender palettes are just really like nice and slim and fit easily in my drawer. Then the actual palette is very beautiful, but also very out there. There's just something about this eyeshadow palette. You are not very easily gonna do a soft look. Like you really have to work for it if you want to do a soft look with this palette. The formulas in here are really nice, pigmented, blendable, matte, really out there, very sparkly, in your face shimmers, and just some really interesting textures. I think this kind of like galaxy shimmer is really gorgeous. I really like the shade Trinity in the middle over here. I really think we have some gorgeous shimmers going on, but once again, you're not gonna get a soft look. The look that you get with this is very out there. Don't think this is gonna be anything else than it looks like. It's gonna be bright, it's gonna be smoky, it's gonna be out there, it's gonna be really fun and just in your face. I think this is a great palette. It really fits the show, and I really like the two sides, the blood and then the smoky moodiness. And I've done some really nice looks with it, but it's definitely very out there. So know that about this palette. And also for that reason, this is not gonna be like a go-to palette for me. This is not gonna be a palette where I just dip into whenever, wherever, whatever look I want to do. This is a palette that is a choice. Like if I want to do something very out there, very smoky, I will go into this. But if I want to do something a little bit softer, I'll likely go into the Spellcraft or the Avatar: The Last Airbender palettes when I do want to do something with the Lethal Cosmetics shimmers. But I do like the fact that we're getting something which is Once again, very different in this newer formula by them that I do really enjoy. I keep saying it, I do think they do a great job with their new formulas. And as with their Effortless Airbender collection, I do feel like they did a really great job when it comes to really making a collection that makes sense. Like, there's a reason they did this collab. They really cared about it being about Dexter and making sense for Dexter. Like, all the little details that they put into this collection, it just makes so much sense and makes it so fun. So yeah, I did really enjoy this palette, but it's very out there. Like, the shimmers in here, they are just beaming off your face. Okay, this is Marley from the very near future. I forgot to talk about something from the Dexter collection, so this is like 10 minutes in the future. So here I have the Lethal Cosmetics and Dexter Luminol liquid highlighter, and this is such a beautiful shimmery iridescent blue liquid highlighter. It looks amazing on the cheeks. It is very eye-catching and it does fully dry down, which makes it very long lasting. It's a little bit out there, but you can also use it as a liquid eyeshadow. It really works like that as well. It's a beautiful shimmer, wet look glow. You get a lot in this. Like, I believe this was a little bit more on the expensive side, but you do get 30 milliliters in this, which is a lot. This is gorgeous. You can use it different ways and it does really last. It's a little bit like out there for me, like blue highlighter. I don't really see myself wearing this on the cheeks a lot, but definitely on the eyes it was also really beautiful. I think I actually have a clip of that. If I have it, I will show it. I have a ton of Drugstore makeup to update you on. A ton. We have a lot to talk about. So let's start out with the Catrice Kiss and Glow collection that I tried, I think, at the start of the year. This was their Valentine's collection. First up, we have here this lip shaped lip balm. This is the Catrice Kiss and Glow shimmer lip balm in CO1 Lust for Love. The packaging of this is really cute. It does feel like Drugstore, but it is Drugstore. We have a very shimmery lip balm. This on its own, if you really want to use this kind of like as a lip mask or really like drench your lips in this, it's gonna look a little bit crazy. It is very shimmery. It has a golden shimmer in it. But if you just dab this on a little bit, dab this over something, a lip look that you already have, you just want to add a little bit of shimmer and hydration, this is pretty cute. Like, the shimmer in this is kind of chunky, but you can make it look more soft if you just use a little bit less. And it does feel nice on the lips. Everything in this collection does have a candy scent that I find a little bit too much personally, but if you like a candy scent, you're gonna like this collection. Then we have some blush sticks and a highlighter stick from this collection. The highlighter stick from this collection is really beautiful, glowy, sheeny, not shimmery. I really like the color of this one. This just looks amazing on the skin. I just love dabbing this on with a finger. I think this is gorgeous, absolutely beautiful. One of the most beautiful stick highlighters that I have tried. Like, this really blew me away. This is a really beautiful highlighter. Absolutely stunning on the cheeks. Then we have the blushes, and I think these are okay. They're a little bit on the balmy side. They are not looking super even on the cheeks. Like, these are just looking fine. I feel like they look a little bit similar to that Cosmo Beauty blush on the cheeks. It's like, you see the color, you see the pigment. It's kind of like that natural looking amount of glow. Like, it's not really glowy, it's really like this natural effect, but it's just not as smooth as I would want my blush to be. Then we have the lip liners from this collection. I am convinced that these are the same as the plumping lip liners from their regular line. They behave the same, they wear the same, they are really easy to apply. I really like the colors of these. This is just one of my favorite lip liner formulas ever, not just from the Drugstore, but from all lip liners everywhere. I do have to say that the most lip liners that I've tried are from the Drugstore, but I just feel like the Drugstore does lip liners really well. And this is just another formula and more colors in the formula that I really like. And then we have the peptide lip tints. I have talked about these before. Like, I already gave you a little bit of an update because there were some different squeezy tube lip products from Essence and Catrice that came out that did seem a little bit similar. So I did think it was good to kind of already update you on that because there was so much already happening, and then you could already kind of make up your mind. So these peptide lip tints, I feel like, are not super high rating. I wouldn't really call these a liquid lip balm. I feel like these are more of a squeezy tube lip gloss. They do have a little bit of a grip to them, but I just don't feel like these make my lips feel exceptionally hydrated or supple. It just doesn't make that much of a difference. These are pretty cute. I like the shades, I like the glow. They make the lips look really good, and I do really like them for that, but I will see them in my collection more as a lip gloss rather than a lip balm. I just feel like the peptide ones that Essence came out with in their regular line, those are more hydrating. I do feel like these are more hydrating and last longer than the butter dripping lip balms from Catrice. I like these more than those, I think. These, by the way, also have that candy scent that you have to like. These are pretty scented. Do we have another comparison? I just feel like these are not as hydrating as I was hoping for them to be, and I just gotta be honest, even though I get really excited about the colors and the look on the lips, I feel like for me these are gonna be more of a like summer lip product. I just applied a little bit of the sheer orange lip oil by Lethal Cosmetics because my lips are feeling a little dry, so now you can kind of see that glow, and I do like the way this looks. So I have some things by Revolution to talk about. I've been on a Revolution kick. I've been really enjoying the brand. If you had told me a year ago that I would be reviewing Revolution this regularly, I would have laughed you in the face. Well, not really, probably not. I would have just nodded and thought to myself, maybe not. So something that I've been really enjoying, you have no idea how much I have been enjoying this, is the Revolution Super Base Vitamin Base Primer. I have used up 2 of these tubs. Since I started using it, I just cannot stop using this, and I am using this day and night, and even when I'm not wearing any makeup. This is not a primer to me. This is like the ultimate hydrating moisturizer to me, and I was ready to review this with my last new makeup updates, but it just felt like such a part of my routine already that I forgot that it's also a product that I have to review. So I just go through these like crazy. I have bought multiple backups. Like I just keep using this primer. It is crazy. So this basically is just a very hydrating, thick, kind of like oily hydrating cream, but it's not oily to the extent or in a way that it is a greasy layer on the skin. If you let it sink in a little bit, it doesn't feel like it's laying on the skin, but my skin just feels much more hydrated. Like I'm wearing it under my makeup today and I'm not looking oily, I'm not looking crazy, and I don't feel it on my skin. It also doesn't break me out, and it's just so nice and hydrating, and I love like slathering it on my face. This is so great. It's also affordable, and I just basically go through one of these a month. And I just love this product so much. It works so well for my dry skin, and my skin has just felt really good with this. And there was just a month or like 6 weeks or so that I was basically just using this on my skin. I was using it day and night and nothing else. I didn't even look at my serums. I didn't look at anything, and my skin was looking really good. Like this really helped my skin look more even. I feel like with my dry skin, usually when I get blemishes or issues, it usually has to do with my skin actually being too dry, and also with me being too lazy to actually put on cream. But if I do regularly, twice a day, use this, my skin looks and feels so good. I really like this. Love this. Like this is a favorite. I have used 2 already before I even updated you on it, but I did mention it in a few videos, so you would know what was going on. Then another favorite by Revolution, something that I have been enjoying a lot, is these duochrome eyeliners that in a way I've enjoyed maybe even a little bit more than the Lethal Cosmetics one. I kind of feel like I shouldn't say that. How can you say that? How can you call this better than an indie formula? I sometimes find it difficult to admit those things to myself, especially if I spend more money on something than something else. Sometimes it's hard to admit that you like the cheaper product. Do you sometimes have that? Like in the end, I like check with myself. Is this really how you feel? How do you really feel? Be honest, because I would never want to steer you wrong, but sometimes it takes a little bit of time to admit to myself what I really love the most, especially if I'm expecting something else. So I have here the purple one. This one is called Twisted Galaxy Purple, and in the packaging it looks like it would be sort of similar in color to the Lethal one, but this one does have a little bit more of a muted gray base, and the purple in this one is a little bit more muted. The Lethal Cosmetics one is a little bit more of a bright, almost fuchsia purple. I've actually done kind of like a makeup playtime where I applied the Revolution on one side and the Lethal on the other side to really see the difference. And then we have here the one in Stardust Gold, which is kind of like a peach to gold to green, really beautiful, really nice for in the inner corner. So I feel like in a way this formula is sort of similar, and the sheen and the shift of this is kind of similar to the Lethal ones. Also the way these wear is very similar to the Lethal ones. These are very long wearing, they really set down, and then they are smudge proof, waterproof. The thing is, these are right away very creamy, while what I said about the Lethal Cosmetics is that they just need a little bit of a warm-up time. So even though I think those are really beautiful, I love using them, I love that I have those 4 shades and they just get me really excited. I do feel like this one is a little bit easier to use and it's also more affordable. So the thing with this is, straight away as you're applying it, it just glides on. It's very creamy, then it sets down, and it's just a little bit more easy to use. So these are really like a drugstore find. I feel like a drugstore hidden gem. First, when I saw these, I thought, well, nah, I don't need them. I don't think these are gonna be better than the indie ones that I've tried, but in the end, these really have their own place in my collection and I've used these a lot. I've reached for these ones a lot. And there's just something about them. I really enjoy them. I do like the shifts of them. These are just really gorgeous eyeliners. And I definitely think that these are worth checking out. Then this one I didn't like so much. This is the Jelly Lip Oil Hydrating Balm by Revolution. I just feel like this is too thin. It really is kind of like this jelly like stick, and then it kind of like melts as it touches your lips, and it's just very thin and oily. It's really like applying an oil to your lips, which is not hydrating enough for my lips. I just needed to be mixed in with something. So this wasn't a favorite for me. It does look glossy, but it disappears right away. Then this Pout Lip Oil Hydrating Oil. I actually quite enjoyed. This is the one in Watermelon Pink. It does smell like watermelon. It has a bigger doe foot. It has a slight tint to it. It's quite nice and hydrating. It seems to have kind of like a shimmer to it, which you don't really see on the lips. This is quite a nice lip oil. Then I also tried one of the Pout Liners lip liners. This is the shade Kiss Baby Pink. So it's kind of like a lighter, cooler toned pinky shade. I like the formula of this. It is long wearing. It applies nicely. It is just a burning sensation plumping lip liner. And it's just kind of weird if that burning plumping sensation is only at the outer perimeter of your lips. I don't really get the point of it. So I don't know if I'm really gonna be reaching for this one, even though I like the formula and I like the color. It just feels so unnecessary. Like, why is this plumping? Why should my lip liner be plumping? I get a plumping gloss, but a lip liner, I don't really get the point. And then another thing that I've really enjoyed from Makeup Revolution is their new stick bronzers and stick blushes. So I tried the shade Sand in these stick bronzers. So this one is the lightest one, and it's very light. It's really beautiful, but it's almost not showing up on me. It's very blendable. It's very creamy. It is a very nice skin-like finish. I do really like the packaging of these. Very compact. They really are like snugly closed. They really feel sturdy. I really enjoy what they did with the packaging. I also have 2 shades of the blushes. Really enjoy this formula. So once again, we have really like the skin-like effect. This one is Pinched Light Pink. Have I put this on my skin? Maybe I haven't. Maybe I haven't. So the one that I did buy at first and that I did try and also did some different wear tests with is the one in the Rosy Cheeks, and this is really like this rosy shade. It's a marbled blush which is just very skin-like. It isn't too matte, but it's also not glowy. It doesn't dry down too fast, but it's also not thick or sticky. It is just a really nice formula. It's really easy to use. I think these are great, especially for the drugstore price that you pay for them. But even besides that, I think these are really nice. I just really enjoyed them. The amount of pigmentation, the way they smooth over the cheeks, they look very smooth. It's really like this sort of matte effect, but it kind of changes. It kind of adapts to what you have underneath it. So if you want these to look a little bit more glowy, they will adapt to like a glowy skin tint that you put underneath. And I feel like some matte products just really suck all of the glow out of your whole cheek. It doesn't matter what you have underneath. And these just adapt a little bit, which I also really enjoy. These are gorgeous. It is time for the last round of products. These are all drugstore products that I have to update you on. I tried a few things from W7. Not all of them are going to be in this video, but there are a few that I already have something to say about. So here I have the W7 Gloss Away Lip Balm. I think this is a pretty okay product. It is just pretty sheer. It smells like grape. It is pretty thin. This is not something that I'm going to use to make my lips feel more hydrated. It's just a little bit too subtle and not hydrating enough for that. Then I have here the W7 Bronze Icon Bronzing Powder. I do feel like the packaging of this is pretty bulky for what you get. Like, the packaging is pretty high, while the bronzer is definitely not that high, and it's just, it's a bit too much. It's a bit too bulky. And then when you open it up, I do really like the color of this. I do feel like it's really blendable. It's really easy to use. It seems to have a shimmer in it, but I don't really see that on the skin. I think it's more of a shimmer that helps the blend, but I don't feel like it really shows up. I think this is a nice bronzer. It was really easy to use. I do think this is a really nice color. This is kind of like, this is like my preferred color for a bronzer. I do feel like it's a little bulky. So besides that, I do enjoy it. I think this is a good product. Then I also tried the Prime View eyeshadow primer. This one doesn't work on my oily lids. I have really oily eyelids, and this just didn't make my eyeshadow stay. It did crease. So this is not gonna be for me. If you want something a little bit more creamy, a little bit more tacky, something which has a little bit of pigment to it, which will cancel out maybe any veins or redness on the eyes, this could maybe work for you, but it didn't work for me. And then I also tried this Pink Pleasure and Dusty Pink blush duo. So we have two cream blushes in this blush duo. One is a little bit more muted, one is a little bit more of a bright pink. I actually think this works really well. It's really blendable. It's a nice amount of pigmentation. These are really nice blushes. I do really enjoy them. This one was one that I was really quick to put in my new makeup updates basket because I did really enjoy it. I did really like it. It was easy to use. Then this one was such a random purchase. I didn't even mention it in any video, but it has been hanging around here and I have worn it a couple of times. This is the Wet n Wild lip oil and I got it in shade Fuzzy Pillow. Is that the shade? Fuzzy Pillow. And this is kind of like a creamy, peachy pink shade. It's a really interesting lip oil formula. You don't get a lot of product on the actual doe foot. Like, there's such a big doe foot, but then when you take it out, there's just not that much on it. And then when you apply it, it just feels more like a gloss. It's just a lightly pigmented, kind of glossy gloss. It's not really something special. It's not really something memorable. It's an okay lip oil. I just feel like this is the type of lip oil formula that just doesn't really work for me. To me, it's kind of like the Sigma Beauty lip oils, which is almost a little bit more like a gloss, but not like the type of gloss that I really like. I cannot even really put my finger on it. It's just not my preferred formula. I just wanted to feel almost a little bit more jelly on the lips, if you know what I mean. It feels a little bit more almost creamy on the lips. So I could definitely still see people liking this. For me, it was just nothing really special. Then with these two products, it's kind of the same story. I have had the L'Oreal Glotion in my to review basket for months and months and months. And I'm 99% sure that this broke me out really badly and I haven't dared to put this on my face again. So this is gonna be the moment that I tell you that I'm not gonna put this on my face again. I'm so sorry if that disappoints you, but I just don't want to do it. I don't want to take the risk because if I get breakouts from a product like this, it takes me more than a week to get back to what my skin usually looks like. What I can say about the Glotion is that it is a glow that is definitely not hydrating. It is a type of glow where the glow is dry, so the glow is because of the mica. The glow is not because this is an actually glowy hydrating product. So this I think is gonna be really nice if it doesn't break you out and if you have oily skin. I think this is gonna be great for some people. It's not gonna be great for me. I like something that is a little bit more like healthy looking and not as much as putting a little bit of highlighter all over your face, and that's kind of what this does. So I'm really sorry, but I'm not gonna be using this again. And when I used this Buttermilk Glaze Soft Glow Skin Tint by NYX, I did kind of enjoy it. I think it looked pretty good. It wore pretty well. I didn't really have an issue with it, but it just broke me out so bad, and it's very, very scented. It smells like suntan lotion. It smells so strongly, and I think that might be the thing that broke me out. Gonna look at these ingredients. There is niacinamide, mango, and shea butter in here. I wouldn't really expect that to cause an issue. I'm gonna see if there are more ingredients on this packaging. I don't think I really see anything here. I don't really know what irritated me, but this broke me out so bad. It took like 2 weeks for my skin to go somewhat back to normal, so I'm gonna give up on this product. I just don't want to do that again. If I put this on my face again, it's gonna take so much time to recover, and I just don't want to do it. So yeah, this was pretty okay for me, but it's super scented. The look is kind of good, but I can get this kind of look from products that are not as scented. So yeah, giving up on both of these. I just need to draw the line somewhere. I just don't want to give up my skin health to be able to wear this one more time, to be able to tell you that it still doesn't work for me. Like, this is not gonna work for me. And then this one also really irritated my skin. My skin felt very like itchy. Okay, then I have 2 products from Kiko. I don't know why they are here, but they ended up here. I could have also mentioned them with the Street Heart collection. So here I have the Water Eyeshadow Chrome Tech in 02. This is a purple to gold duochrome. This is pretty satin. It's a nice eyeshadow, but for the price that you pay for it, it's not a super special shade. So I think you can find something like this for way cheaper than what you pay for these like special shade Chrome Tech eyeshadows. It is really beautiful. I would say you can find this from another brand that is cheaper, or I'd say buy this on sale when they have like a 2+2, or I believe now they have like a 2+1. Now that I'm filming this, they have a 2+1 on like eye products. So I think it is beautiful, but I believe this is also 15 euros. I don't think that's worth it. They just put this in a lineup with more special shades. I don't think a satin duochrome eyeshadow should be 15 euros. Like, it's not necessary. You can find this in other places. Then we have the Kiko Glow Fusion Powder Highlighter. I finally tried it, and this is such a beautiful glow from within kind of highlighter. Very smooth, very beautiful. It just makes you look ethereal, gorgeous. I think this is a beautiful product. Then this one I actually forgot to put in my Catrice video. I just found it at the bottom of the basket, and I thought, oh no, how could I have missed that? But I did. So here it is in this new makeup updates video. So this is the Catrice Super Proof Brush Liner Waterproof. This is really watery. Even if you like shake it really well, it's just super watery. I don't think this is a good product. It is just not pigmented. It is not smooth looking. It is just too watery. It's not pigmented. What do you want from me? That is what I have to say about this liner. Then I have here the Essence Stay and Play Gel Eyeliner, and this is waterproof and long lasting. This is in the shade Midnight Sky. This is nice and creamy. It's long lasting. It's a really nice product. It just glides over your eyes. It is very nice. I really like it. It does work really well. It is, I think, one of the best liners that I've tried from Essence and Catrice. Like, I've tried some that I thought were a little bit more on the dry side. This one is really good. Then I have here the Maybelline Super Fluff Brow Gel, the Brow Mousse, and this is just not for me. I think for me this is too pigmented, and even when I wipe it off, like I did try it wiped off and then applying it, it works a little bit better, but I still feel like this turns out very messy very quickly. You can kind of clean it up, but it's a kind of product that kind of like sticks to your skin under your brows and makes them look messy. I think maybe if you have already very full brows, like I have moderately full brows. If you have very full brows, this could be something that could work for you, and I think it could work for some people. The hold on this is pretty good. I pretty enjoy, but it's just a very messy look. If I apply this without scraping off the pigment, it just looks crazy messy, and then when I scrape it off, it's like, it looks okay, but it's really easy to make a mistake and go overboard, and I just want my brow products to be easy, to be quick. This is not something that I'm gonna grab if I have to run out the door, if I'm doing my makeup before going to the office in the morning. I just don't want to deal with a product like this where I am not sure what the result is gonna be. This is just not my favorite, but I think some people might like it. It's not a objectively bad product, it just doesn't work with my brows, and I do have the lightest shade. I believe this is 250 Blonde, so I already got quite a light shade, and then it's just too easy to mess it up. I didn't realize, but I actually have another W7 product. This is the Cheeque Dip in shade Shadow, and this is actually quite a nice product. It has a nice amount of pigmentation. I really like the color of it. It is quite cool tone, but it's also quite light, so I don't feel like it becomes too blotchy on me. This is really easily blendable. It's a really easy to use product, also because the amount of pigmentation is nothing too crazy. It's not too much. If you have a light skin tone and you want a cool tone contour, this could be a nice one for you. I do really enjoy this one. I think they did a great job with that. Like, some products that I've tried from W7 have actually been really nice. Not everything, you kind of have to know what to get. Alright, then let's talk about the new matte blushes by Maybelline. These are the Sun Kisser matte blushes. I have 3 of the shades. I did do a dedicated review if you're interested in these products. I think these are pretty cute blushes. They are very bright shades, nice for the summer. They blend well. They are pretty easy to use. They're not like extremely pigmented, but they do have quite a lot of pigment to them. They are a buildable product. The only thing I would say about these is that they are a very serum-like, very thin, almost watery texture. And they're not watery in the sense that it's not pigmented. They are pigmented, but they really have kind of like a sheerness to them. There's a sheer, almost stain looking quality to them, which makes them the type of product that doesn't really smooth over the skin, that doesn't really like smooth over imperfections. And for me, this is the type of product that I would use if I have quite a lot of coverage on my cheeks, and I wouldn't really use these on my bare cheeks or when I just have a little bit of a light skin tint on, because I do feel like these don't perfect my cheeks as much as I want them to. But for what they are a nice product. It's just not my exact preference, because I do like something where the pigment is almost a little bit more concentrated, or where the product is almost a little bit more creamy, and this is just very thin. So if you like kind of like that cheek stain look, I think you could really enjoy these. Like, these are pretty easy to use. And then in that launch with those matte liquid blushes, we also had some highlighters. I have here 2 shades. I have 22 Star Studded and I have 21 All Star. These are pretty cute. Nothing too crazy, nothing too glowy, kind of like soft, kind of subtle. They are just a very natural lit from within highlighter. I do feel like these do a little bit more than that highlighter that we talked about like 10,000 years ago by Kiko from the Street Heart collection. These are pretty cute, but nothing too special, nothing that I'm really excited about. Alright, last 2 things are by Made by Mitchell. I tried the lip liner. I believe this was from the Space Cowboy collection, and it doesn't really have a name on it. Oh, it's called the Lip Trick. This is the Lip Trick in Here on Earth. I do really like it. It's a really nice cool tone color that has almost a little bit of a purpley hue to it, and it's not too creamy, it is not too dry, it's a nice wooden pencil. I don't really have anything bad to say about it. It's a really interesting color, something that I didn't have yet in my collection. I feel like it's maybe a little bit similar to Stone by MAC. You know what, now that we're here, I'm just gonna swatch Stone. I just feel like Stone is a little bit more, here it is, Stone. I feel like that one is a little bit more brown, and this one has a little bit more of a purpliness to it. It's just a little bit more almost berry, which I do like with a lot of lip looks. I just really like this color. And then I also bought the foil film bundle, and I actually tried now 2 different shades, but I did want to update you on it because I do really enjoy these. Even though I haven't tried all the colors, I have tried like 2 different formulas, and I do feel like I can say something about how these work. So I have here shade Cosmic Cactus, and this is actually what I'm wearing on my eyes today. Like, that is kind of like here in the inner part, in the inner corner of the lid. This is a really beautiful, more like subtle sparkle. It has almost a little bit of a duochrome to it. It's a really nice mint shade. I feel like these work really well as a topper. They're really easy to blend. They're not sticky. They don't look crepey. They don't look weird. I also have this one here, which is Lone Star Stayed, and this one is a little bit more like sparkly. It's more of a topper. It has some like larger shimmer particles. I did a look with this that I really enjoyed, and I don't know, so far I'm really into these. These are really nice liquid eyeshadows. I do like that I have multiple options in smaller packagings because I wouldn't go through any of this, but this is really nice to add kind of like a sparkle, to add something a little bit extra to a look. So yeah, I haven't tried the full bundle. I don't know if there would still be a difference in the formulas, but so far I've really liked it. I believe I also tried one of the purple ones. I don't know exactly which one that was. Like, it's gonna take me a little bit of time to go through everything because I often forget about these things, but when I use them, I really enjoy them. Okay, that's gonna be it for this video. I'm guessing it's gonna be a long one. I hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you in my next one. Bye bye.